Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. What if I told you the only thing standing between you and your next big opportunity is your voice? This isn't just another program. Empower Your Message is your ticket to becoming the podcast guest everyone wants. You'll learn how to craft a pitch that gets a hell yes, show up with unshakable confidence, and drop truth bombs that leave hosts and audiences wanting more. No more playing small. No more waiting for permission. It's your time to be heard. Loud, clear, and unforgettable. Visit the link in the show notes to sign up, and let's make your voice impossible to ignore. The mic is waiting. Are you ready? Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast, a platform that was created to help elevate and amplify the voices of women through sharing their stories. Today, my guest is Leilah Mirza. She is a healer, a speaker, a holistic therapist, and a mental health coach. Welcome, Leilah. How are you doing today?
Hi, Brad. Thank you so much for having me. I'm great. Thank you.
Excellent. I am honored to have you here, and I am so excited to jump in and share a little bit about your story, your journey, and of course, the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you do. So with that being said, I'm going to jump right in here. Now, that is a hell of a lot of hats you wear and quite an extensive resume. So as a healer, obviously you're guiding others through their healing process, but I'm curious, what was the moment that cracked you wide open and forced you to heal yourself first?
Wow. I think as we are put on this earth, and earth is like school without walls.
Yes.
And it's not through ourselves that we find we're on a healing journey. It's through meeting people who are catalysts in our life to awaken part of us that we can't see. So people are mirrors to us. So it was definitely with the relationship choices I've chosen, not just love, but friendships, family members. They all mirrored parts of me that I knew, was this aligned? Was this wholesome and alignment?
And so as they say, healers are usually born from pain. So what pain became your portal to your power?
Okay. That cracks a nerve, that question. Yeah.
Good. I love that.
That is the thing that if you want to get tissues, ask that question.
Sure. Yeah. Let's go.
That's really vulnerable. And that makes me feel quite vulnerable, that question. So I'm happy to embrace this moment with you right now and explore that.
Beautiful.
Through painful experiences I definitely went through as a child. And I knew that either my soul is not for this world or my human self wasn't for this world. I felt something wasn't right with the world. Through the pain that I experienced as a child, I've gone through experiences of abuse, where I've experienced abuse and I've had perpetrators who were close to me, who were loved ones, who has done that. And that really shifted things within me that I knew either I'm not meant to be on this earth, I'm meant to die or try to commit suicide or self-harm, or I'm here to change the paradigm for other people in my time. Now, that was many years ago. I am 40 now, so that must have been when I was 6, 7, 8. And it's through those experiences I've started to learn very early on that there's something bigger within me. And that very person that I wanted to save, or I was looking for to save me, was really me.
Wow, that is powerful. Thank you for your vulnerability, and thank you for sharing that, Leilah. I appreciate your openness and your honesty and your vulnerability.
Thank you.
And so how has working as a healer contributed to your own personal growth and understanding of the human experience?
The human experience, Brad, is something that everybody has difficulty with. It's not the soul. It's not the spiritual experience, because on a soul basis and on a spiritual level, we know what we need to heal. Our soul knows what it needs to repair. just like the body knows how to heal. But what people struggle with, it's the spiritual self, the human self, sorry. What people struggle
Yes.
with is a human self, because everyone tends to look at the world on through a tunnel. That's the human
Hmm.
self. And people get lost in that tunnel. So it's understanding that we're here to see things from a very deeper perspective. And in my life, I didn't look at the human stuff. I'm so programmed because by the work that I do and by being a parent, I try to look past what is this person experiencing on a human level versus what is this person actually needing on a soul level.
Yeah, I mean, it's because of all the conditioning and the 3D human world that we focus on the human experience when really we are humans having a spiritual experience.
Absolutely.
That's what life is about, is going through life as a spiritual
Exactly.
experience.
Exactly.
But we've been programmed to believe otherwise. And really, we all came here as souls. And when we were birthed into these meat suits that we're in, that changed everything. We forgot everything. We forgot our soul contracts. We forgot our purpose, all of that. It was all not, I don't want to use the word erased, but it was all pushed down so that we don't remember it. And it's so that part of the spiritual experience and stepping into that spiritual side is the remembering part of it, remembering why we're here, remembering our soul
Yeah.
contracts, remembering our purpose,
Yeah.
all of these things.
Yes. It's the becoming who we're actually meant to
Yes.
be. And usually when I'm working with people, I'm always reassuring them that, look, I'm not going to change you. I'm going to peel back the layers within you. So you're becoming who you're actually meant to be, not what the world told you to be.
Yes. Yes. Exposing the true, authentic person beneath all the layers. I love it. And so what do you think is one of the most dangerous beliefs we carry as humans about healing? And what is the soul truth that we need to replace it with?
That question is a very good question. It's a very good question. There's so many facets to that question. That question goes so deep. And if we push back the beliefs that were formed, because so many people have so much constricted beliefs about healing that actually ties them to so many more facets of who they are, because we're all multidimensional beings, right? There's so many parts of us on different levels, on different paradigms. People have this belief, I feel, of limitations that hold them back to the human self. And this is where people get caught up. People often would go to Tony Robbins, the Walk on the Fire, and
Yeah.
perhaps they'd have a session with listening to you, inspiring them and healing them. And usually that only lasts for, let's say, 3 days to a few weeks. And then they flip
Yep.
back into that paradigm before.
Yes.
That's because people think that you just need a teaspoon of the medicine and then we've stopped healing. And then I usually get people say to me, Leilah, I've worked on this wound for so many years. I've tried to heal my daddy wounds and my mommy wounds, and it just keeps coming back. And that's because I always say your healing is an investment in yourself. It's something that's a journey. It's
Yeah.
not the destination. That's one
No.
thing. That healing, it's a journey. We're not running on this journey. We are experiencing this journey. And now we have things like ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
Who is a therapist, really.
Yeah.
But that's not the journey, that's the destination. ChatGPT is just taking you to the answer. You're not doing the work. But
Yes.
ultimately, you're always going to be work in process. And people think that one session with me or going to listen to one of your podcasts, it's going to complete your healing. And obviously, I'm getting quite passionate about this. But it doesn't. The healing it's something that doesn't stop. It's continuation. It's working through, knowing that on every level you will meet new devils of you. All of these things, I think that we need to really become truthful and accept that we are constantly healing. We are constantly evolving.
Yeah, the work never ends. The healing process never ends because we are, as you just said, we are constantly evolving as human beings. And I love your analogy about people just wanting the spoonful of medicine and think that's it. There's no more healing to
Mhm.
do. Healing is not a linear thing. It's multifaceted, as you said, and this is a marathon.
Yeah.
It's not a sprint. It's not a 50-meter dash. It is a marathon, and the marathon is never ending. You've always got to be working on yourself. So thank you for sharing that. It's beautiful. I love it. But you're right. So many people think, oh, I can just take this one course, or I can just spend a few weeks working on this. I can go to therapy 5 times or 6 times, then I'm done. I'm good. No, it never ends. You have to continually do the work.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You have to be invested. You're investing in yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is where people, what I notice is where people fall off the track and they slip into the patterns, so they slip into and back into the unhealthy parts of
Yeah.
work is work. You are
Yeah.
in progress. And the more you accept that, the easier things become. Then you don't have to start all over again. But sometimes people come to me and they tell me, I've searched for therapists and I've been to psychologists and I've been for 6 sessions before. And now I feel like I'm going back to the darkness of the wound. I'm like, good, let's go into the darkness. Let's find out, why do you think you need to finish? Because usually there's a belief behind that. If you think you
Yeah.
need one session to fix you, is that actually enough? What is going on there?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So if you stripped away all the labels, healer, therapist, coach, who is Leilah at the core? What name would your soul give you?
Oh, tingly. To be completely honest with you, it's so hard beyond the human class because, like you say, these are all labels. Yep, I am a hypnotherapist. I've done healing, I do coaching, but really, truly, I feel like I'm a divine source for love, to show people that through love is how we truly heal. Because that's really where I take people to, back to the heart, where you truly remember who you are without the ego attachment, where they can
Back
feel
home.
safe. Exactly. Where you're not being judged and you're not in an environment where you feel there's that ego part of you that's going to or hold you back. You're in an environment where you feel heard, seen, loved without the conditions, loved without the judgment. And that's what I feel like I really do. I work with people from my heart. I serve from the space.
Beautiful. I love that. So if healing was a sound, a color, and a texture, what would it be for you right now?
Ooh, yeah. If healing was a sound, a color, or a texture, color, I would say green. Oh, funny.
Yeah.
And it's only because I associate peace with the forest and the woods.
Okay.
The irony is I'm from Cape Town, so we love the ocean. Cape Townians, they love the beaches, the ocean, but I love the forest. I love the
Okay.
trees. I feel like it's very healing. Harmony.
Harmony. Okay. As a woman walking between the worlds of science and soul, how do you hold space for both the trauma and the transformation?
I think from the science and especially from the clinical aspect is awareness. They are just tools. But really, you hold people. The truth heals people in the heart. So when we're working or when we're holding space for people, is remembering your core self, your congruent self. There's no higher, there's no lower. There's all uniformed people. We're all one soul. We're all oneness together.
Yes.
So like now, Brad, we're having an encounter. But if me and you are speaking from the heart, what is going on between us is intimacy.
Yeah.
And that's intimacy. So
Yes.
it's the whole heart of the conversation of heart that we can actually increase our vibration, if we can actually take each other higher. It's through connection. They say in love, it's through connection and through chemistry. That's what forms a relationship and compatibility. And if you look at two people, regardless of love relationships, soul relationships. It's through connection, and connection can only happen when you're authentic with the heart.
Yep. Connection is everything. It is absolutely everything. We crave that. We're human beings. We crave connection with other humans. We are all one consciousness.
Yeah.
And we need to, this stuff, I love talking about this stuff because it needs to be shared with the world. People need to realize, and there is no higher vibration than that of love. Love is the highest vibration on the planet. And that is all we need.
And that
If we can learn to step into that and embrace that and share that with one another, we are going to raise the vibration of the planet, of the consciousness. All of it can only go up from there when we step into that and own that. It is so powerful.
Absolutely. And it's through that space that you can heal. There's a
Yes.
meditation, which is beautiful. It's actually called a theater healing meditation because your brain goes into theater healing. I actually have the book. So when I take my people up to the meditation or my clients, there's planes that you go through. And it's in the seventh plane that we believe is a plane of consciousness where it's pure light. And in the book, it actually states it's in the pure light that everything becomes healed. In love, no dark can exist. Because if you have fear and faith, they are two of the similar things. You have fear and you have faith. They're both intrinsic. They're both feeling. They come from in. You can't see them. So you either choose fear or you choose faith. Faith is more positive. It's the higher vibration.
Yeah, of course.
It's easier to choose faith, but people hold on to fear. And if you put everything in healing and have faith in love, that's where everything becomes transformed. Transformation happens when you have faith to go to love.
Yes, absolutely. And so what's a part of your healing journey that you used to hide, but you have now realized that it's your superpower?
Yep, that was my intuition. That was my allowing myself to be vulnerable. Even things like this, becoming visible with you and being vulnerable and having visibility. Not everyone can hold that space. It takes courage to have raw conversations.
For sure.
And allowing people to see, actually, I'm not perfect. I may be a healer, but behind all our doors, we all have our own stuff that has brought us to the path. It's through those moments that people can see that you're actually human, and that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I want to dive in and speak about your work as a mental health coach in the mental health field, in the mental health work that you do. What inspired that part of your journey into working in the world of mental health?
It all started in 2014. I had my youngest daughter, my 12-year-old daughter, not the youngest. I have twins. And I decided that I needed to work with people because I was working in the banking industry and the finance industry before. And my boss always used to tell me, you're not Citizens Advice Bureau. You're here to sell. You're here to make money. You need to sell the investments, and we need to turn over 50,000 because that was the bank's target by the end of the day. And I always felt that pressure to push people. And it didn't make me feel like a good person. I felt like I was robbing people, almost as if that was like my karma on this earth. And after I had my daughter, someone once told me that you have something about you that's very healing, whether it's your hands. And I explored psychodynamic therapy. So I started studying counseling. Okay. What happened at that stage when I started studying counseling in 2014, my lecturer at that stage told me that I wasn't good enough almost, which really reinforced those beliefs I had as a child. Because at school, I was no A-grade student. No, right. I was more in the fairies. I was always using this part of my brain, always imagining, always praying. I was always with spirituality and faith. I dropped away for a year, and then I went to study spiritual counseling and therapy. Okay. And then I dwelled into modalities like healing, energy work, and stuff like that. And I started finding myself. And then I went back to counseling. And then I studied hypnotherapy, but it was in 2000.
Okay. And what is a question that you wish more people would ask about mental health, but almost no one ever does?
I think that question is people have the idea that mental health looks like sadness. It looks like depression, mental health. It's so now everyone speaks about it, but behind everybody's smile, they don't really know what's going on. Everyone looks normal. It doesn't need to look normal. It doesn't need to look abnormal. There's so much mental health issues in this world that's opening up, and not just with women, with men. So much more with men than with women, because we assume that men have to hold together, that men have to be the strong one, when they were not given the tools on how to emotionally regulate themselves.
No.
Where they were not shown that it's actually safe to break the ancestral genes, to recreate the paradigm of the family. There's so much pressure on men. So men are programmed to suppress their emotions. And when there's someone
Absolutely.
who's road raged on the road, who's angry, so I would usually tell people behind every adult is a 5-year-old person.
Yeah, very true. Men are conditioned and brought up typically to believe that we're not supposed to show emotions. And again, this all starts with our young boys. We need to teach our boys that it's okay to have emotions. You are an emotive being. You're a
Yeah.
human. Of course, you have emotions.
Yeah.
We all have feminine and masculine within us. And it's okay. None of this, oh, come on, suck it up, put on your big boy pants, stop crying like a little girl. All these different things that boys have been taught to believe that this is how you're supposed to act is all bullshit. It's all lies.
Yeah.
It's okay to have emotions. It's okay
Yes.
to feel sad. It's okay to feel things.
Yeah.
You're human.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to feel
Yeah.
things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this will really reduce the suicide rates around men. There's also this thing lately that women have to be more in their power, and women have to become more like this. That creates the imbalance with males in this world, right?
Yep.
Because now we have women who are strong and like this and who can just leave, and men don't really know their place in this world right now.
For sure. It's very confusing for men. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, it starts with teaching our boys.
Yeah.
That's where it has to start.
Absolutely. Exactly.
And we have to help the men who are struggling with this. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Leilah, but I'm very passionate about this piece of it, because we have to teach the men too, so that they know it's okay. Because you're right. Men, so many men out there are confused. They don't know their place in the world anymore.
Absolutely.
And that's not just to take anything away from what women have had to deal with or go through, but men go through shit too. And it's almost like it gets forgotten about. Or the men, they're the strong ones. Who cares? They have to deal with it. And sure, that happens for women too. Absolutely. Oh, just suck it up. You are the matriarch. You've got to put everyone else ahead of yourself. And all of this conditioning on both sides is fucking horrible, and it's all wrong.
It is.
So we need to shift the paradigm. We need to shift the mindset and the way of thinking and the way we look at these things. Both men and women need help on both sides. I don't care what anybody says. We all need the help and the support. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, it's true. Because we're programmed to be emotionally open with our husband and with the males.
Yeah.
But in the same time, we don't expect them to know we feel, because they're not allowed to feel. So there's all this contradictory information. This is quite contradiction. But it's the same thing. Like, example, if my husband's having a day that he works from home, he's stuck with me and the girls. I work from home. My husband works from home. We juggle between us. If he needs a self-care day and he tells me, look, I just need to go to the gym today because this is my releasing. I'm like, okay, babe, go. When you go into the gym, go, because I know this is what you need. This is his way of outlet. How are you going to release that? There's not enough space in the world for a man to have the voice. So, we need that more. So that's for sure. You asked that question about what is that one word or one way to describe mental health that people may not be speaking about. Men need a voice too. It's definitely them.
For sure. For sure. What do you believe that we're getting wrong in the mental health world when it comes to women's healing journeys?
That's a very interesting question. I think this could be really not funny in a funny way, but there's a lot that's going on in the women's world regarding mental health. Everything is now related to anxiety. Everyone's now is narcissistic. Everyone's now got bipolar. I do believe people need to be heard more. Women, even women, they need to be heard. There's a lot of everyone's got mental health issues. Let's just put it under the way. But this is serious. People are reaching out to speak. It's not just mental health, but it's financial stuff that's breaking people down mentally as well. And there's not enough support. In this country, I don't feel that there's enough support for anyone who's got mental health. So people go on this long waiting list, right, to mental health. There's a long waiting list for people to go onto. It's not so much accessible for everybody. There needs to be more noise. There needs to be more support.
For sure. People need to speak about it more. It needs to become more of a normalized conversation.
Yeah.
Because I think there's still a lot of shame and stigma attached to mental health.
There is. Even, for example, if I was to tell people earlier, I think I went to the hairdresser or the nail salon, and I just looked quiet. And someone said to me, "Are you depressed? Do you feel depressed today?" But in such a form that it was almost like you say, shameful.
Yeah.
That's maybe because I wasn't dressed up and I didn't look my best. But depression and mental health is almost associated as a negative thing.
Yeah.
And the thing in today's society is people need to understand these are all chemicals, right? Emotions, they're feelings. We have different types of emotions in our body. Now, as a therapist, I have something that's called a wheel of emotions, right? We have sadness, we have joy, we have happiness, we have depression. They're all chemical responses. So we can't heal the chemical. And people are often getting caught up on when we feel depressed or when we feel sadness or joy, we have to heal that feeling. It's not about healing the feeling. It's about embracing the feeling.
Yes. Yeah.
It's acknowledging, because the reason why you get stuck in depression and feeling anxious is because you try to fix it too much by resisting what's going on. These are chemicals that they flood in our body, right? When we experience them, we need to experience, this is what I'm feeling right now. Let me invite these feelings and what's going on, because all these emotions you feel is an invitation to you. Yeah. Whatever you're experiencing is an invitation for you to explore. It's hello.
For sure.
I need this right now.
Yeah.
Hello, I need a hug. I need a talk.
What we resist persists. So feel into it. Let it wash over you. Don't push it away. Yeah. Feel into it. The key, I think, there is to not stay stuck in the feelings.
Yeah.
Sit with them. Let them wash over you. Let them flow through you. Acknowledge them, as you said. But then figure out how to move through it.
Yeah.
Take a beat, sit with it, and go through it.
Exactly.
Just don't stay stuck there.
And that's exactly where people come to me, is because they are stuck, right? Actually, my messaging, this is on my website. People find me where they're stuck in their life. And the reason why is because they are getting addicted to that feeling of stuckness.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not a conscious addiction. Oh, you know what? I feel quite crappy today, so let's just that type of. It's, you know what? It becomes safe. Actually, I don't feel good. I really feel depressed, and they stay there and they swim in that energy. What I usually tell my clients is, don't let the emotion become your identity.
Exactly. So how do you think society's approach to mental health needs to change to better support individuals?
How would they supposed to support individuals better?
Yeah. How do you think society's approach to mental health needs to shift and change to better support people who are dealing with and struggling with mental health?
I think there needs to be more access. Certainly, I'm in the UK. I don't think there's enough access. Okay. And I don't feel, but remember, I'm coming from both hats. I work holistically. Also, I see different aspects of people. I don't think a lot of people are drawn in from the right place, or pulling in from the right places. So I think there needs to be easy access more
Hmm.
access. There needs to be more
Okay.
availability. There needs to be more
Hmm.
signposting. There needs to be
Yeah.
more support. There needs to be, like you'll see on billboards, smoking cigarettes,
Yeah.
Jim Beam out, the new Jim.
Yeah.
It's all the wrong stuff that they're putting, all things that's not really relevant to building a healthier, holistic society. It's got to start in the mind. There needs to be more support around this
Mhm.
in doctors. There needs to be more networking groups around that. But I think access is one of them.
Okay. And so, how do you blend the science of mental health? So, putting on, I guess, your therapist hat with the soul of healing in a world that still sees them as separate, because there's two camps, right? There's the Western way of medicine and dealing with mental health, and then there's also the spiritual or the Eastern side of thing dealing with it. How do you blend the two? Because you wear both hats.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm holistic, but I
Mhm.
have the labels. If people really
Right.
get to the icky sticky bits, I am
Yeah.
psychodynamic therapist. I am also hypnotherapist and a coach. But ultimately, my messaging is not based on credentials.
Hmm.
I don't need to use credentials to validate the work that I do because it's very holistic, it's very in tuned. Eastern medicine is so different from the clinical stuff.
Yeah.
Although in psychodynamic therapy and different types of therapy, it stems from different fathers. Called one,
Right.
Sigmund Freud, it all comes from different fathers, from different elements.
Mhm.
They fall under different umbrellas. But
Yeah.
ultimately, if we go back to the root of the person holistically, we start with an
Hmm.
individual. So first on a soul basis is connecting with the person deeply. Because in psychotherapy and in clinical world, in the clinical world, they don't teach you about how to love your clients and see,
Right.
they teach you congruence and acceptance. You have to accept the person as a whole. But if I lay my foundation down and start with Eastern medicine, Eastern medicine is all about the client, it's all about the root, your patient, the person in front of you, the soul in front of you, to see what it is that they need. So I'm always more drawn to, it's good to understand and have the modalities of the
Hmm.
psychodynamics and the clinical stuff, but I'm always more drawn to where it all began for that person because of the
Yeah.
root. In the clinical world, it's all about treatment. And then in the Eastern world, it's all about really the root, discovering what's the root, what's really going on deep inside.
Yeah. That's the distinct difference for
A
sure.
distinct difference. And this is a beautiful subject because Eastern medicine goes way back in time, even to the
Mhm.
points of witches and
Yeah.
witchcrafts and stuff. We were giving each other herbal medicines, using sound healing. And if you go to the ancestors, I think it was in Australia, there was a book where they would lay in soil and heal through the ground of the
Grounding.
earth.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's beautiful practices there that helps people to feel connected. So it's good to work with for me to have the Eastern with the Eastern
Mhm.
medicine and know the energy of what's going on with people and then use the tools. Just dab into the tools.
Yeah.
Always know that this person is a whole in front of you. And there's a deep cause, which it goes back to the roots.
Yes, for sure. Western medicine, I always say it's like they're not getting to the root. They're looking at the cause, and it's band-aids over bullet
It
holes.
is.
That's all they do. It's here's a pill, take this pill, and then that pill. Oh, you're gonna need another pill because there's side effects from that pill, and it just
Yeah.
goes on and on. And I'm not discounting all of Western medicine. We need Western medicine for certain things, absolutely. But I think it would be beautiful if more people in the Western medicine world got on board with integrating both Eastern and
Yeah.
Western together.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful connection.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you, Brad, a few months ago. So I run retreats and I ran
Mhm.
a retreat in Spain. And the first few days of the retreat was very deep because I did a lot of psychodynamic exercises. I put people in a compassion chair, which is very
Mhm.
dark because when people sit on that chair, you are coming hand on hand with the demons. And you're speaking about your vulnerabilities, that I don't feel good enough, the chair of compassion. So all the vulnerabilities get exposed. So I found that people felt quite exposed, quite raw, quite deep. What I brought into the retreat by the end was Eastern medicine. And that really, they felt the vibration of love on that retreat can't be measured. You can't
No.
measure what love as a medicine and healing can do to people.
Yeah, for sure. If someone asked you, what do you really do for people beyond the titles? How would you answer that question from your soul, not your resume?
I transform people back to their hearts.
I love that. At first glance, of course, you have all these titles. Speaking of titles again, your work spans many different paths. But underneath it all, what's the golden thread that ties everything together that you do?
The golden thread, the one tool that I work with, I am a facilitator. I facilitate people's healing. I'm the facilitator. I'm the catalyst. They are healing themselves, really. I'm showing them the light.
As a guide for others, what is one thing that you're still very much trying to figure out for yourself?
Yeah. We're all trying to figure out. Oh, Brad, you ask the best questions, don't you?
Thank you.
What more is there to what people need? And honestly, it's really true, because I've been doing this since 2014, Brad. And this journey
Right.
is nonstop.
Okay.
Seen it all. I've seen rape, abuse within parents, within families. I've seen incest. I've seen mothers harming their children. I've seen it all. The most vulnerable, painful situations where I've closed my book, switched to the laptop, and just sat there trying to ground myself. The pain that people have experienced, and they've let me in. I'm always looking for a higher version or the better medicine that I can find to help keep them. And I know ultimately it is through love. So I don't know what else would exist, but I'm always curious to know more.
Love it. If your legacy could whisper one message into the hearts of every future generation of women, what would it say?
You are enough.
I love that. That's a powerful one. So many women struggle with that. Men struggle with it too, but I think it's more common among women because they're, again, going back to what we were speaking about earlier, the conditioning, all the different conditioning. And the conditioning's been very different for men, boys versus girls. But we've all had these things conditioned into us that we have just adopted and taken on to believe, but it is all bullshit. It's all false.
And it's
but that not enoughness is a huge one.
Yeah. I have 3 daughters, and I think whatever I want to echo in their rooms and outside the world is for them always, and my son, is I want them always to know that no matter what, they don't have to fit in to anything, that they are enough. Because in this world, like you say, with all the conditioning, the conformity, the one word, my 12-year-old knows, she knows the word of conformity. You're not a conformist. You don't need to conform. You don't need to be a certain way. And I found that out very early. And if there's anything I wish my mother could tell me, or anyone could tell me as a child, is that you are more than enough.
Beautifully said. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
I can see what people can't see. And I love it. I have very strong intuition, which I know makes me very different. It's a gift.
Yeah. Speaking of success, how do you define that word? What does success mean to you?
I am success. I am success. That's an affirmation, because you know what? We search for success to a point that we need to realize what we have is actually enough. To me, everyone has a defined version of success. I actually had a client the other day who asked me, will I be a success? And I'm like, what is that to you? What does success mean to you? Because we have a different definition. Right now, I'm success. I have my beautiful children. We live in a lovely home. I have a thriving business. I get to travel whenever I want, just like this. That to me is success.
I love it. And so what does the word empowerment mean to you?
Rooted from inside.
Rooted from inside. Okay. Love that. Okay, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section here. So the next grouping of questions will just be 1, 2, 3-word answer. Okay. How would you describe yourself in one word?
Mystical.
What is your favorite self-care practice?
Silence.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
Love.
What's one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
World peace.
If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
Healing.
What is one thing you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance?
Acceptance.
What's one word that defines the woman you are becoming?
Empowered.
Love it. That concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I created a bonus question that I did not send you ahead of time. If you could take one feeling or one belief, bottle it up and give it to people, what would that be?
Strength.
I love that answer. If you were to introduce yourself to me without mentioning your occupation, where you're from, your ethnicity, your religion, your nationality, where you grew up, all of this bullshit, all the labels, all these superficial markers that we use in our day-to-day lives, how would you introduce yourself to me?
I'm human.
Love it. If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
Yeah, that is an interesting question. What's the night before and asking mostly to do with how would people become part of the soul purpose? How would people understand the soul purpose on this world? Because people are always seeking. They're always seeking for the soul purpose. I had to really challenge that question back, Brad. It wasn't an easy question. But yeah, how would people understand their soul purpose?
Okay. How do you think people will understand their soul purpose? I put that back to you to answer.
Yeah. People are looking on the outside so much. They are soul searching on the outside. And they're soul searching on the outside that they are missing the biggest link, who in theory is themselves. People are so conditioned to go to the pharmacy, to go to the gym, to run from the demons, to keep running. And they become disconnected to who am I actually? What am I here for? And that's because they're not spending enough time accepting themselves and going within.
Beautifully said. I agree with you 1000%. We are always running from ourselves instead of sitting in silence, sitting with ourselves and reflecting, spending the time in silence. As you said, you like to spend time in silence, sitting with ourselves and just having and taking the time to be, just to be, instead of always doing.
Yeah.
Just spend that time with yourself and reflect, think, go within.
But some people actually find that really uncomfortable.
Yes, of course.
They
of course.
Sit with themselves.
Yep, absolutely. It's hard. It's not easy to do, but you have to learn to do it. Otherwise, you're always going to be searching. You're always going to be looking for the external validation from others.
Absolutely.
All the answers. We have everything we need to heal ourselves. The answers, it's all in here. You just have to take the time, put in the effort, the work, whatever you want to call it, and go within and find those answers. They're all there within you. Yes, there are coaches who provide. Your job as a coach is not to provide people with the answers. It's to give people the tools to figure out what the answers are. But it's really up to the person. You have to do the work as the person, as your client, as any coach's clients. If you're doing the self-work, the self-discovery, you have to put in the work. Otherwise, there's no point to it.
Yeah.
The coach cannot give you the answers. Only you know the answers.
Yeah.
You can get guidance to those answers. Absolutely. Of course. That's what coaches are for. That's what mentors are for, to give you the tools to guide you. But you have to do the work to figure out what the answers are. Yeah. And that's where people go wrong.
Exactly. And I think this is where expectations become lost and people feel perhaps almost disheartened because they expect things as a magic tool or the magic tablet.
Yeah.
That they're going to invest in you and they're going to pay, let's say 5,000, 6,000, whatever that is. And then they're going to walk away and their life has transformed.
Magically changed. Yeah.
Exactly. But people always have to remember that the work has to come from here and with here.
Yeah. Yes.
And people think it's either just cognitive, but a lot of the time it's actually both. You have to be willing to work with your heart, to be vulnerable, and to use your mind, because in life, a lot of the work that we do is based on how our mindset is. And
For sure.
mindset is more than the actions that we take in our life.
Absolutely.
You can't heal without feeling.
That's right.
And even Bob Proctor, who I really do love Bob Proctor, he once said that the law of the universe is first by the law of vibration before the law of visualization and seeing. The ultimate law, we have to feel everything before we can move. If you can't feel and you can't connect, don't expect to move. So usually people are looking for the quick answers and a shortcut. There's no shortcut if you're not willing to do the work.
That's right. Absolutely. If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
There's so many amazing women that I really look up to. One of the women that I truly love is, I don't even know if you heard of her. She has written the book Return to Love.
No.
I had a brain freeze moment, but that will come in a moment. That lady I really love, because I feel like she's got a lot of information and she met a lot of profound leaders. That's Oprah.
Okay. Let's just see who wrote Return to Love.
Marianne Williamson. Sorry.
Yes, Marianne Williamson.
Williamson. I love her work. I do love her work.
She is actually coming to Toronto in October, I want to say. She's coming to Toronto in October for a session. Yeah. I am thinking about possibly going.
That was an amazing book that she wrote. And there's one line that she said that I will never forget. People are not afraid of the darkness. They are afraid of the light.
Wow. That's deep.
Yeah.
I have to check that book out, actually. Return to Love. I will check that out.
And it's in that book that she said, it's not that you're afraid of your darkness. It's that you're truly afraid of your light and what you'll become.
If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
You were born not to fit in.
Lastly, Leilah, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your tribe, your people, your corner of the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
You have the key. Your soul knows better. And always move forward from love. Love has the truth. There's the truth in love. No, honestly, it would be short and sweet. You are, and you hold the answers if you reach within love. Because if you don't make choices from your heart, you're making choices from the ego self. And the ego self does things to protect you. But if you listen to your heart and allow yourself to be vulnerable, you will elevate a lot higher in your life. Because the heart has no bounds. It doesn't see conditioning. It doesn't see fear. So I always ask people, where are your decisions coming from? Are they coming from the mind or are they coming from the heart?
Beautifully wise words. Leilah, thank you so much for taking and making the time to be here with me today, for sharing a little bit about your story, your journey, and of course, the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you do. I have thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. I am honored to have you as a member of the Empowerography community. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brad. Thank you for the amazing work and for opening light bulbs today. My light bulb. I had to think.
I love that. That's what I aim for. I want to create questions that cause my guests to think. I want my guests to walk away thinking, wow, that was a really deep conversation. I had to think exactly what you just said. I had to think about my answers. That's what I'm going for. So thank you for reiterating that, for sharing that. And it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you and sharing in your journey and your story. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And likewise, equally reciprocated. Thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you. I received that. Once again, my name is Brad Welsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Leilah Mirza. She is a healer, a speaker, a holistic therapist, and a mental health coach. Thank you so much, Leilah. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.